Hello you guys, and welcome to day 9 of the vlog. Obviously this is not my classroom, it's after school, I'm here at home. I don't know, I might be one of the only teacher vloggers, I guess, who's in this situation, but I definitely value, like you saw in the video yesterday about kind of carpool arrangements, you know, I value at the time we're gonna leave, and if the day is crazy in between, then there's just not really much of a chance to film at all. Every Thursday we have team meetings, so with that in mind, with the team meeting, those days are definitely rough in terms of having time to yourself, really. I teach from 8:15 until 12:40, and then I've got my lunch break, which is a really nice 36 minutes. I know a lot of schools are not lucky. Jake has 22 minutes for lunch, which, like, I can't even imagine. And then after lunch is my planning time normally, but when we have these meetings, then basically my only time I'm off or able to work on stuff is during my lunchtime. And some people definitely are able to get more done while students are working on things, but to be honest, I've never been one of those teachers, and I don't want to be, just because when you've got all these kids in the room, like, I feel like it's a big disservice to have your attention on other things. Like, even if the kids don't really want help on things, maybe to an annoying degree, I'm walking around, like, just so they feel like I can help them out if needed. So anyway, that being said, it was a really great day at school. I'm honestly having so much fun. I think it's still a much better structure overall than last year, but there's just so many funny moments. Like, I'm really enjoying this group of students. So anyway, we had a good day. For social studies, I know in the last vlog I had talked about being unsure of what the social studies activity was going to be, just because I wanted something that was a review, but wasn't really happy with my infomercial skit kind of project from last year where kids were researching one particular event and trying to write a script about it. I felt like that was too isolated and didn't really help them see the big picture. So we used some of the same events that I had done in a chronology activity at the end of last year, and the students actually have to create a virtual museum exhibit. I think this is a project that's very versatile. No matter what the content is, if there are different things that could be showcased, obviously it works really well because there's often history museums, but I could really see science working out well with this, or even certain literary works if we're looking at specifics on authors' lives or their own experiences, or even books to try to put together an exhibit about it. But for the assignment, the students have to select 5 events out of a list of 15, and they will create a slide about each of the events. With that in mind, they'll have a brief description about it, just like there's information at museums, and then they have to find an artifact or select an artifact, whether that is a picture of a certain object, it could be a historical document, it could be a photo or image. So choosing a source here, and then they have to do a caption of it. So I thought this was a chance for them. They're picking 5 events, so they have to do some organization there. And I did not give the students the events listed in chronological order, so they also have to organize them. So that's what I set up for that project, and I'm anxious to see how it goes. So far it seems like a very positive work day, and what is nice about this compared to what I've done before is that this particular project, they are doing some of that comparison. They are putting things chronologically. They are doing some primary sources or secondary sources depending on what artifact they choose, and it's done individually, so I really can tell where students are at. Whereas in the groups that I had done in the past doing that skit project, you don't know exactly if it's just one person writing the whole thing or if it's equally distributed. Especially early on in the year, it's tough to tell that stuff. That being said, I do want to switch gears and talk a little bit about today's main topic, which is that I want teachers to stop undervaluing themselves. I think there are a lot of different pressures, obviously, on teachers, and I think that maybe some of us feel that we're not doing good enough job at times, or we don't give ourselves enough credit, or maybe don't have as high enough of a self-esteem as we should. And one specific manifestation of that, based on a conversation on my way home with the carpool today, is with Teachers Pay Teachers. I know many of you ended up finding the channel through one of my Teachers Pay Teachers videos. I'll actually link a playlist below if you are a teacher and are interested in how to set up an account and get started on there. Now, I know there are amazing teachers out there. I've only been at a few schools, and yet I can vouch for that. I've seen some really incredible teachers. But what I also find interesting is that the vast majority of these teachers are not selling anything on Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, there could be a lot of reasons for that, but one reason I hear probably more often than others is like, is my stuff good enough? would my stuff actually sell on Teachers Pay Teachers? So many teachers have that mindset, and I get it, because it's only human nature. Before you put effort and time into doing something, you want to know that it's going to be successful. You want to kind of have an inkling that it would be a positive thing. But here's what I think about it. In general, as teachers, we all bring different positive characteristics, different awesome activities. We all have those kind of things. It doesn't have to be that every day is like that, but we definitely all have really great strengths that we bring to the classroom. Likewise, I know that a lot of teachers spend hours upon hours creating stuff for their classrooms, and I've been there. I still do that. The sad thing to me is that, this was something, again, we were talking about in the car. The sad thing to me is that I'm gonna guess that many of these teachers who spend hours and hours and hours of their stuff, that stuff that they have, that they've created these beautiful lesson plans and projects and everything, I wonder if that's ever going to leave the confines of their classroom, if they're ever going to share that. And here's the thing, even worse. If you are transferring schools, moving to a new subject, you created all these incredible materials and they're just gonna sit in a file cabinet somewhere, or somewhere cluttered in Google Drive or the cloud or wherever it is digitally. And then connecting that back to the fact that in many situations, teachers are not paid very much. So we've got this incredible supply of teaching materials, and then also teachers struggling. It upsets me, or it just makes me sad that more teachers are not taking advantage of Teachers Pay Teachers. Because ultimately, I stand by the platform 100%. Yes, I am a seller on there, but the idea that it's a win-win for everyone. If you are a teacher and you've already spent all that time creating a resource, you might as well try to get a little extra financial compensation, and likewise, that material or item is then available for someone else who might need that perfect thing for their class, and you can save them valuable time. I have not purchased very much off TPT, but I know when I have, it has often been a lifesaver to me, or it just allowed me to not have to reinvent the wheel and do a lot of extra work myself. I'll spend a couple dollars and get an incredible resource that will save me hours. That's absolutely worth it to me. And there are so many wonderful things on Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, as far as the context of bringing this up, I think there's also maybe myths that not only is my stuff not good enough, but I'm never going to be, that top seller who's bringing in thousands upon thousands of dollars. Couple things with that. First of all, I dislike it when in society we try to compare ourselves to the people on the top, because there's a lot of successful people in the middle somewhere, and we don't have to not try just because we can't be the best. It's a great phrase that I hear about, don't do nothing because you can't do everything. Even if you're not going to be that top person there, it still has a lot of merit to give it a try. I know for myself, this month here in August has been by far the best month for Jake and I on TPT, and we still have like 20 products that are paid products. So we aren't a huge, massive store, but this month alone, we were able to get over $400 in sales on our teaching products. And so with that, I feel like if you have purchased any of our stuff, it's high quality, but you also know we don't really charge a ton for any individual products. But the fact that, we were able to obviously benefit ourselves, but then also with other items, you get these good ideas in other people's classrooms, it's a really cool feeling. But again, we are just regular people. We have 20 products that are paid in our store, at least at the time of recording this. That's not that many in the big scheme of things. Yes, a lot of time has gone into that, and I have worked on improving the products in the store over time, but nonetheless, it's not like we have 100 or 200 products in our store. What's also been really cool is that someone who I got into Teachers Pay Teachers, she has gradually been uploading things, and she doesn't have a whole lot up at this point. I think for sure less than 10 paid products, but this month was her first month with having more sales, and it's her first main month of doing it. Not that many products, and she's also not going through like the fancy design elements yet of trying to make it look more aesthetically pleasing and all of that. She's just literally uploading what she has, and she's also on the free membership, which you get 50% of every sale. This month, she has already gotten take-home pay of $36. Now again, $36, yeah, in the big scheme of things, it's not a lot of money, but she's literally just starting out. She hasn't put in a ton of extra work on her products besides uploading them. And I know that most of us teachers probably have a whole slew of resources that could be uploaded but just aren't. And she's even on the free membership account. So it's really kind of a thing of like, what do you have to lose? I know one of my motivators that I have talked about, I'm pretty sure in a past video, is that I do hope to at least be able to take some time off when Jake and I have our first child. And Teachers Pay Teachers is a way that I can help supplement the income that I wouldn't be getting from teaching during that particular time period. So with that in mind, it is something that is really important to me and I definitely value a lot. But the fact that, you know, you can be so successful without, even if you're brand new, it's not too late, and just stop undervaluing yourself. I have many teacher friends who make incredible stuff that I know would do very well, and it further gets your great ideas out into other people's classrooms. So those are just my thoughts for the day, just wanting to encourage you as a teacher to stop undervaluing yourself. And we do have Labor Day weekend coming up, so maybe that's a chance for you to, if you've been putting this off, starting Teachers Pay Teachers, maybe this is a great weekend to get started. And you can totally check out any of my tutorial videos if you're interested, because again, it's something I feel so passionate about. You know, with this, it's not like the more people get on board, the more competitive it really becomes, because each teacher has different ways of teaching things, different angles, different successful strategies that have worked for them. So if this is something you've at all considered, I hope you'll end up giving it a try.